Camouflage and Cover-Ups is brought to you by the Coming Home Well Network and Clear Right Productions. We cover unusual topics about government cover-ups, military, murders, conspiracies, and maybe even aliens. Welcome to Camouflage and Cover-Ups with Jenn Page.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Is it morning? Maybe it's not morning at your house.
Yeah, well, good day.
Good day, sir.
Good day.
Welcome to Camouflage and Cover-Ups. I'm Jen.
And I'm Paige.
And we're coming at you from Dallas. We got a fun episode today.
I can't wait. I have no idea what's going on. I can't vouch.
You rarely know what's going on. It's a large file.
Wow. That's not a file. That's a book. That's
a book.
Like a thesis.
Yeah, well, somebody else wrote the thesis, and I just basically stole it. Whoever wrote this was great.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're just going to insert, like, comedy.
All right, just buckle up, folks. Take a bathroom break ahead of time.
Yeah, well, I'm calling this episode You Give Love a Bad Name.
Ooh.
I know.
Isn't that Pat Benatar?
Is it?
I don't know.
Yeah, we were watching... Just a sidetrack for one moment because it's the Christmas time. We were watching the tree lighting last night, and there was all these singers, and my husband was like, "Who is that?" I'm like, "I'm 400 years old. I don't know who anybody is."
That's how I felt last New Year's Eve. Did you watch like them ringing in the new year? I'm like, who are these people?
Who are these people, and why is their boob hanging out?
That's a baby with a boob hanging out.
Wear some clothes.
So we were watching last night. Have you seen Mother God?
No.
It's a documentary on HBO, and I thought I had texted you, but if you have not seen it, listen to the podcast first. Set aside, 4 hours for this episode.
Yeah, well, listen to our podcast first.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh,
and
this
then,
one. Okay.
Yeah, then go watch the documentary. It's wild.
Should I listen to our podcast? I do.
I always say listening to my voice, and everybody sort of feels this way, but it's sort of like pooping with the door open and somebody watching you. That's how it feels.
I'm glad you don't do that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, especially on here.
Yeah, yeah. But I told you my parents didn't have a bathroom door.
Oh.
But they built the house without a door on the... Anyway, maybe I'm oversharing. I
don't like any of that.
Yeah, it's just different.
Well... Back to the military. Well, we wanted to say thank you to all the veterans and everyone who's listening and who has supported us so far. Of course, we're a network with the Coming Home Well Network, but really we are here to support veterans, and we are the whoopee cushion of the network. And we're okay with that.
I love that. We should make a T-shirt.
We should. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Merch. All right, so we are going to talk about a lovely girl named Lisa.
Okay.
Yeah. She's a fascinating girl and also super disappointing at the end.
Oh, no.
I know. Yeah. There's no murder on this one, but there could have been. All right. So, Lisa Marie Caputo.
Sorry, I'm a child.
She's a 16-year-old boy, guys.
Yeah.
All right. So, Lisa Marie Caputo was born in Washington, D.C. on May 10th, 1963.
Okay.
All right. Her dad, Alfredo, was a computer consultant. She giggles about names. She's drunk right now.
I wish.
Calm down, Paige. So her dad, Alfredo, was a computer consultant, and then her mom, Jane, she was a biological specialist.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Well, we got some nerds going on in the family over here.
I love it.
Yeah, they're smarty pantses. They're not like my family who grew up in a trailer park.
Or my family where my twin brother thinks you can drive to France in a car.
You can, yeah. Definitely. Mm-hmm. There's a bridge. So Lisa has two younger sisters, and they all grew up in Rockville, Maryland. One of her defining memories was when she was little. She was around 6, and she got to watch the Apollo 11 moon mission. I mean, was it real? That's the real question.
You know I love space.
Well, I just like that people actually think that it wasn't real. But then when you look at like Star Wars, when you look at the cinematography of Star Wars, and you really think that we could have the cinematography was a little bit different back then.
Go back and watch Wolfman or all those like old horror movies, and they've got like stuff hanging off strings.
Well, there was like what was it? Mary Poppins, the original Mary Poppins. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's definitely fake strings.
Well, yeah, real people don't fly. What do you mean?
And then they've got just watch the cartoons from back then. Yeah. We landed on the moon, folks.
Yeah.
All right. So she's watching, she's 6, and she's like, wow, that's amazing. So that is when her spark for the space program began.
Are we talking about space?
We're talking about space.
Awesome.
Girl, we're going to space today.
Awesome.
Yeah. So she went to a high school called Charles Woodward. I don't know where that is either.
Sounds like somewhere in Maryland.
It's in North Bethesda.
Okay.
Bethesda. I like that word. And when she was a junior in high school, she told her mom that she wanted to be an astronaut.
Cool.
You know what I wanted to be in high school? I wanted to be a rapper.
No way.
The whitest rapper ever.
I wanted to be a journalist, and this is what happened.
I think there was the
whitest rapper ever. Yeah.
Super white. Also, I can't rhyme very well. And I definitely don't talk fast enough to do it. That would have been a bad career choice.
Did you just pick it out of a hat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that happened. Of course, she was a Girl Scout.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a member of the French Honor Society, which required students to maintain an A average in French and a B average in all other classes. We only care about French here in America.
Oh, tu parles français?
Yeah. Exactly. Bless you. So she and I probably would not have been friends.
Oh, I think we would have been good friends.
We're not hanging out in the same place.
You're rapping in the bathroom.
She was on the honor roll. I wasn't on that. I don't think I was.
I didn't get a medal or anything.
Yeah. And she also competed in math competitions, which I'm out.
Yeah, that's where our friendship would not happen.
Yeah, I definitely. Now, if it was like failing math,
like a tutorial group,
like who can get the lowest IQ points? That's me. So she was also on the student council and in our high school, and then she wasn't just a nerdy girl though; she was an athlete.
Oh, of course. Why? I mean, did she have big boobs too?
Nah. No, she was fairly thin, actually.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah. She played field hockey and ran track and field events, and that's fun.
She sounds like she's made for NASA.
Yes.
Yeah.
She is definitely made for NASA.
Okay.
I am not.
I'm surprised she didn't take Russian, but I don't know too many high schools that offer Russian.
Yeah, she should have because, the International Space Station.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in 1981, she was named Student Athlete of the Year.
Good for her.
Okay, so this is not a vote by the other students.
Mm-hmm.
This is like something I will never attain, even in my 90s where I am now.
This is a resume builder.
Right. So you can only earn this award by excelling the most in both sports and academics.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So she's extra special.
She's like extra. Yeah, she has like pins on her lapel or something.
She's like standing at the front of the graduating class.
Yes, she's, And of course, she graduated co-valedictorian.
Oh, I knew it. I could feel it.
There can't be one.
Mm-hmm.
I graduated 69th out of 300.
That's not bad.
I was the co-69th with my friend Charles.
That's a pretty cool number.
Yeah. I was valedictorian of my homeschool class.
My mom gave me extra honors.
She gave me a pin. It was like made out of clay, but whatever. So when she was a senior in high school, she was accepted to Brown University.
Oh, good for her.
I hear Brown's hard to get into.
One of my work wives went to Brown, and she's way, way smarter than me.
I did not get there. I was so dumb in high school. I definitely took my SATs and I was like, yeah, I'm going to go to, William and Mary or whatever. I don't even know what that is. I'm over here in my trailer park. Like you just go to college.
I'm going to go to Sesame Street. I'll show all of you.
Well, like you grow up and high school is free. Why wouldn't college also be free?
Yeah. Oh, don't even get me started. We've both got young kids. It just hurts too much.
Oh, well, I'm giving my 9/11 GI Bill.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah. Yeah, so free stuff. I don't even have to save money. I just need to stay alive.
Yeah.
So she gets accepted to Brown, and that's of course a private Ivy League college,
in
university.
Rhode Island.
Yeah,
It's quite nice.
Providence, whatever. Hoity-toity, pinkies up or whatever when you drink your tea. I'm just jealous.
Me too.
Yeah, I went to Harvard on the highway. Whatever.
Harvard chicken.
Well, she was also accepted into the United States Naval Academy.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, who wouldn't?
Now, to be clear, I did not go to the Naval Academy.
Okay.
I have a hard time liking people from the Naval Academy because I worked with them.
Why? What makes them so different?
Now, some of the Naval Academy people are great, and you wouldn't even notice that they went to the academy because they never told you.
Oh.
It's the other ones.
It's the Harvard type mentality. Oh, you didn't know I went to Harvard?
I'm an academy grad.
Yeah.
I'm such an academy grad.
Okay.
It's ridiculous.
I get it.
Well, it's like 4 years of them beating you down while you're in college and then also telling you how awesome you are. So by the time you get commissioned, you're exhausted from the military side. None of them cut their hair right, wear their clothes right. It's
Sounds
ridiculous.
like a fraternity.
It's ridiculous. It is and then they get like a lineal number. Don't get me started anyway. They get promoted faster than everyone else, even though you got commissioned before whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, it's rude. It's rude.
So she's on the fast track.
Yeah. So, and it's really hard actually to get an assignment to the academies. You got to have like a congressman friend or whatever.
Oh.
I don't have any of those.
We've got one that used to live right behind us.
Oh.
I can get you a letter if you're interested.
I will. Yes.
Okay.
It might not be too late for me.
Exactly.
Do you take 48-year-olds?
With bum hips.
I gotta bum everything. All right. So since she really, really, really wanted to be an astronaut, she decided against her parents' wishes was Brown, and she wanted to go to be a midshipman at the academy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's how you fast track yourself to outer space.
Okay. I'm excited for her.
Yeah.
Okay.
So far. Well, and so of course this was back in 1981 when women were still not accepted into anything.
Yeah, I was 1. I felt that pain.
Yeah, I like it. You were 1. I was 6. Yeah. 6? Yeah, 6. See, math. Anyway, so women are allowed to do lots of things these days, right? But back in the 80s, of course, we'll let you into the Naval Academy. They started letting women, this is 1981.
Oh,
they started letting women into the Naval Academy in 1976. So it hasn't been that long.
Okay, so she's still part of a really exclusive.
Yeah, there's
group.
like 3 of her.
Wow.
Yeah. So when she shows up, there's women in all 4 classes, so freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, and so that's the piece of it.
But it's not like she's got a ton of roommates her graduating year.
There's like 4 people
total.
And the military does this thing even when I was going through where they will send you to your squadron in pairs. No one female can go by themselves. So that's how the ships work. That's how the academy works. So you got to do 2 at a time or 3 at a time. You can't do one person.
And they ask us why we have to go in pairs to the bathroom. It's because we're programmed to do so.
Well, also, like, men can't put on lipstick correctly.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
It's atrocious.
It gets all in their beard.
Teeth. Yeah, it's gross.
Yeah, it's just gross. And then your lipstick is all messed up. It's all hard.
Chewed on.
Yeah, so... but to make women's stays even better, they were frequently harassed.
Okay, yep.
I like that.
Yeah,
I was harassed a lot too. Yeah, and then the professors would, quote, inform the class that they didn't think women belonged there.
None of this surprises me.
Yeah, I know. You looked shocked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, your face is just saying it all. Mm-hmm. She almost fell asleep. All right. So, well, Professor, you're probably dead now, so we don't really care what your opinion is. Yep. So she kept on going and she ran on the track team at the Naval Academy. And then in 1985, she graduated with a bachelor's in, it wasn't underwater basket weaving.
Aeronautic special sciences.
Aeronautical engineering.
There you go. So I was not valedictorian either.
No, I was validating parking at the graduation is what I was doing.
I wore my cap and gown, though.
I did, yeah. So then she was commissioned into the United States Navy as an ensign. And of course, ranks are really hard to understand in the Navy for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah. I think that's
ensign is the first thing.
How do you spell that?
ENSIGN. So an ensign is also a flag. That's the problem. An ensign is a thing, a rank, and a flag. The ensign is the United States flag.
Okay.
You raise the ensign. Yeah.
I knew that.
You have one in the front of your house.
Good thing I didn't have to take what is it when your citizenship test when you come here?
I'm glad I was born here.
Yeah.
I'd probably fail. I'm like, I don't know where all the states are. Is Oklahoma like north?
I know some Texas rules.
I feel like Arkansas is more north than it is east of Texas. That confuses me.
Yeah. No, I know exactly where it is.
Yeah. Anyway, so she graduates, she gets commissioned, and then after she's commissioned, she gets to choose, which is unusual. She gets to choose.
Yeah, that's the first time I've heard that on this show.
We put our choices in, and then from those 5 choices, they're like, "You're not going to any of those. You're going to go on deployment to Afghanistan. Here's your bag. I'll see you later.
Thanks for choosing San Diego.
Good luck." Yeah, somebody else who's broken is going to San Diego, not you. Yeah, so she decides that she wants to go for a 6-month assignment to Johnson Space Center.
Yeah.
Yeah. I grew up there, basically. I grew up in Clear Lake, right outside of Johnson Space Center. I didn't grow up at the Space Center.
I told you I know an astronaut.
I know a lot of astronauts.
Oh,
Who do you know?
So it was my big and my little in my sorority. See, this was my military experience.
Yeah.
And their dad was actually in space when we were in college. And then
the whole time, all 4 years?
No, he's there for 6 months. He's only supposed to go up for a little while, and then we had that trade embargo with Russia.
That's a problem. He's just stuck up there.
Yeah, he had a blast.
It seems like they would run out of food.
No, I mean, he was on the Space Center, or the
ISS?
Yeah. But so he's just drinking Tang, having a great time.
Tang. Remember those commercials?
Oh, yeah.
I love that. Okay, kids, if you don't know what Tang is, go Google it. There was all these space commercials with Tang.
That's how they sold Tang.
Well, I mean, that's what they used for the rocket fuel.
I'm waiting for what?
Yeah, Tang was the rocket fuel.
Maybe that's why Russia was. Okay.
Yeah, anyway. So, so that's where I grew up. My uncle was actually a ground controller at NASA.
I think that's so cool. Every time I watch For All Mankind, I think of your uncle that I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's my Uncle John. And he actually, when you go into, he worked in the old Space Center, where like the old mission control, where when you go there, it's like the museum now.
Oh.
Yeah, he started working there in the 60s. And he worked there for so long, and they just started the space program. And so when he went to retire, there was no instruction manual. So the new kids that were coming in were like, how do we work this equipment?
Yeah.
And he's like, huh. So they made him stay on for an additional 3 years to write tech manuals. Doesn't that sound tangy?
Well, yeah. No, that sounds awful. But I mean, that's how all manuals came to be, right? Somebody had industry knowledge, they quit training, and somebody had to write a book.
Yep, write a book. Yeah, so he was a ground controller there in NASA. And so I got to hang out a lot in mission control.
Awesome.
Yeah. I didn't get the smart genes, though. He didn't.
He let me press the buttons.
Yeah. He's like, here's where we pee. Cool. And here's our ashtray.
Yeah. Good luck. That's lunch.
Yeah. So anyway, at the Johnson Space Center, she worked as an aerospace engineer at Ellington Air Force Base. And Ellington is like maybe a mile away from NASA itself. Mm-hmm. So I actually landed there one time when I was in flight school.
Again, you're much cooler than me.
So cool. And that is Clear Lake and NASA, if you've never been to NASA, it's down in South Houston. Yeah, in the nice area.
And Houston's sort of built as a bowl, which is so
Yeah.
strange to me that we have NASA traditionally Texas, we have like a lot of servers in Texas because we don't have the same natural disasters that you would on the East Coast or the West Coast. But Houston, as we saw with Katrina, is built as a bowl. And so NASA sort of sits on the outer edge on the south side.
Yeah, I got to take my boys there over spring break. It was fun. They were like, this is so cool.
I know.
They were like, can we fly to space? And I was like, probably not this weekend, bro. But they are probably smart enough to do it.
Aww.
So while she was there, she got to witness 6 space shuttle launches.
Cool.
Yeah, that's so cool. Nowadays, dime a dozen.
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably one launching right now. Who knows?
I know Elon Musk is probably taking one to lunch.
He probably is, and all his rich friends. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so when she was there, she really liked that everyone was like super into their jobs.
Yeah.
She's almost kind of OCD about her job and what she likes to do, and she wants to be in that environment.
I imagine that's a pretty common trait that they look for.
Nerds.
Yeah, no life, no family, you're a nerd, check.
Check, recheck. Yeah. So she said that she liked how each person had their own like important part, which is good. Yeah, the wheels and the bolts.
Yeah.
The launchy thing.
The Tang dispenser.
The Tang dispenser. So later in December of 1985, she got her orders to go to Navy flight officer training in Pensacola. So that is what I did in the military. So an NFO or Navy flight officer is like Goose from Top Gun if you're old, or Bob from the newer one. So it's the backseater.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the backseater. It's the person who, see, any monkey can fly the plane. All the pilots are rolling their eyes right now. Any monkey can fly a plane, but the weapon systems people are the ones who run the mission. So we did the communications, we ran the weapon systems, we did all that. Now the single seat Hornet guys are like, I don't need an NFO.
Sure.
I do it by myself.
Okay. Yeah. That sounds like my kids.
Yeah. So an NFO is going to run the communications, act as the co-pilot. You know, we didn't have control of the aircraft because most of us are too short or too blind.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why we're NFOs.
Both here.
Yeah. So, pilots, just monkeys flying the plane.
With great eyesight.
Don't tell my husband. He's a pilot.
Can probably see you from here.
Yeah. So we're still back in 1985 here when women were still banned from whatever ridiculous reason people
all
thought
the ovulation.
Yeah. Do you have a vagina?
Last time I checked.
You're banned. Yeah, you can't hold that gun. No, I know you're going to break it.
You're going to get too emotional.
So women back then were, and still today, really, with a few things, are still banned from combat positions. So, despite being the smartest person in the room, or maybe the biggest, I mean, I've seen some pretty big girls that could probably,
That didn't hit our DNA pool.
No, I'm not a big person. So she was one of the first females to go through flight training. But I do have to caveat that for the naysayers who are listening right now, women were flying in the military since the 40s, and they were actually some of the first aerial combat trainers. They couldn't go into combat now. That's for the real heroes.
Those who can't teach.
That's right.
That's not why I couldn't.
Yeah, that's not why I could. It's, I just needed a little dangly thing between my legs. Then I could go. Does a cucumber count? So they couldn't go into combat, but they could teach the real heroes.
Okay.
And back then they were the real heroes. The 40s?
Yeah.
Man, those guys are just doing it up. Aerial combat.
Yep.
So she got her ticket to flight school. And of course, as usual, men resented her. And the rest of the women who got in when they didn't. And to be fair, I don't want to sound sexist, but I have been assaulted by for many years because I went in 1993 when this was still a thing.
1993, and it was, I mean, I'm sure it still is, but it's much more common now.
Yep.
And I think after COVID, everybody's got to mind their P's and Q's. Does that apply to the military?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You should mind your pints and quarts. Yes.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Well, and I was one of the first females to go onto a combatant ship in 1995. So that was 1995. I was the third female on board my destroyer.
Holy.
And so there was, and people, these old crusty chiefs, you know, they're just like, women can't do anything. I don't know why you're here.
You're going to squat? What?
Yeah. How are you going to, you're going to have a baby while you're on board? Get in the kitchen.
Yeah, exactly. Are you here for cleanup?
Are you here to make my bed and cook my pot pie? So Lisa went through aviation pre-flight indoctrination, which is actually where I taught. And that is in the cradle of naval aviation in Pensacola, Florida, where my little baby boys were born. That's at Naval Aviation Schools Command.
Yeah, we pass it every year on the way to Destiny.
There it is. That's where also the Blue Angels are.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, that makes sense why
they're real annoying though, like because
Really?
Yeah, when you're on the flight schedule and you have to take off on the same day that they are taking off, you have to get off the runway and out of the airspace before they take off because you're screwed. They shut down the airspace for like 2 hours because they're doing aerial stuff. You know, they're training over the air. So if you don't get if your jet is busted, you're
screwed.
Yeah, you'll launch at 10. Who cares? Yeah, so she would have gone, so going through pre-flight, she would have gone to INDOC, which was her aviation pre-flight indoctrination. It's just a bunch of classwork, and then you do like survival training. So, you know, you're not a sissy pants while you're going through this, right?
Yeah, no, I never assumed that.
Yeah. So she's going through there. There is some classroom training. You know, you got to take the tests and all that stuff.
Yeah.
While I was teaching, an actual rocket scientist came into my class, and I was like, wow, I don't feel uncomfortable at all teaching you. Can you just, you could just teach the class.
Yeah, here.
And he's like, nah, but don't be offended if I don't open the book.
Wow.
Like, all right, bro.
Yeah.
Okay. Meanwhile, I was like, this is so hard. My little brain. So she would have gone through like a lot of safety courses, figuring out how to land in a parachute, how to be in a parachute, all these things.
Yeah.
And then her first aircraft would have probably been the T-34, which is a tiny little front seat, back seat trainer, super stable, great when you let go of the controls because you're freaking out, man.
It's like the sunfish of boats.
Yes, it's the easy one.
Yeah.
So I got to fly in the T-34, and it's a great little airplane. It's, you know, it's super fun. It's very forgiving. Okay. As it were, for me, because anyway.
You could tell me you flew Cookie Monster.
I flew the Cookie Monster.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
It was the T-69 Cookie Monster.
Cookie Monster.
So as she moved through the syllabus and then had grades for jets, so you got to go through these pipelines, right? So you got to get the grades for aviation. Then you got to get the grades for jets. Then you got to get the grades for fighters, and then you got to get the grades for the boat. And then like there's
so you don't see a lot of dummies making it past all the quals.
Well, somehow I did.
Oh,
yeah.
Well,
it's probably because I'm a girl.
Squirrel in a nut.
Yep. I mean, you got to take it when you got it. So she moves through the syllabus, and she would have moved on to the T2 Buckeye. And I have a funny story about the T2 Buckeye. So the T2 Buckeye we usually call the pregnant roller skate.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
You should pull your phone up and look it up. It is hilarious. So if you guys, the T2 Buckeye, like a tree.
Or the Buckeyes, Ohio.
The Ohio Buckeyes. So we lovingly called it the pregnant roller skate.
That actually makes a lot
Well, yeah. When I was in flight school, I was one of the only students, because I weighed under 115 pounds. I was one of the only students that could fly with this really fat instructor. because weight and balance was an issue.
Get on that side of the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sally to port.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was my little story about the T2, but the T2 is a fun little jet too. So she would have flown the T2.
It's because you're pocket size.
I am pocket size. I'm fun size.
Yeah.
So, then she would have progressed through the syllabus and then flown the T-39, which is, it's called a Sabreliner. And so the T-39 is like, if you were rich and you owned your own jet and you had like a butler, that's this kind of jet. So you could have students flying in the back. There was like radar screens in the back seat.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But these jets were like really fun. So we did a lot of radar training and then we did a lot of low level training where we're doing like 360 knots.
It sort of looks like the space shuttle, like the body of it.
Yeah, it's a little smaller though.
Well, yeah.
Well, most airplanes have wings.
And a pointy nose. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The whole aerodynamics thing.
Yeah.
So,
Civilian.
So the funny thing about flying with the T-39s in flight school is that these guys are contract airline. They're contract pilots. They're like 60 years old. They've been flying this route 9,000 times,
They've seen some shit.
They know all the students and what all the students are going to do, and students are idiots, and we get off track. Well, when we fly a low-level route, we have to use wind calculations. We have to do little checkpoints. So we're flying for like 2 hours just hoping that we make it to the right point. And then you have to make it to the target plus or minus 10 seconds.
Oh, wow.
And 50 feet.
And our airlines can't adapt that?
Yeah. Well, an NFO, yeah, just put a person in there. So the pilots, these guys, this is a little known secret in the student world. The pilots would have a toothpick in their mouth. And when they wanted you to go a little bit to the right or a little bit to the left, they would move the toothpick in their mouth in the direction that you should go.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So, they'd help a brother out.
Okay.
Or a sister out, in my case.
Yeah, they're like, we just need to get y'all through.
Yeah, you're going to die if you don't turn left right now.
Toothpick.
So then she would have moved on to the TA-4J Skyhawk. The TA-4J. Now, Paige is looking all these pictures up. She's fascinated with aviation at this point.
I am. TA-4J
Skyhawk. Yep. Now, I didn't fly this jet, but it sure looks pretty cool.
Oh, the Douglas A Skyjet.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
This is what I think of when I think of Top Gun.
Yeah, that older looking, low wing kind of. Yeah. Yeah, they're not, well, anyway. So she earned her wings of gold in June of 1987. Now, I have brought my NFO wings. Now, earning your wings of gold is a very big deal. It's a really big deal. So I want you to describe my NFO wings. So
you're going to laugh. I actually used to have a tattoo, and it looks...
Is that the one that was on your forehead?
Yeah, everybody out there that knows me. It's beautiful. It's pretty heavy too, but it's got a shield in the front, and then it looks like eagle wings on the side. And then the shield has these two like rectangly blocks, and then there are anchors at the bottom. There's two of them.
Yeah, so an NFO is going to have two anchors, and then a pilot is going to have one anchor at the top.
I'm so old. When I first looked at this and you were talking about anchors, I'm like, why do they not just have anchors on there? And as I get it closer to my face, they are anchors. I thought it was another military term that didn't make sense.
That's the problem with getting old. Your arm either needs to get longer or you need to bring it closer.
Or the lights need to get brighter. Yeah.
Can I get a headlamp? Thanks.
Yeah, I'm about a few days away from getting readers. So carry on.
Yeah. In fact, you have an appointment this afternoon, don't you?
Yeah. So do you have a ceremony, and does everybody get it at the same time, or is there a ceremony for every person? How does it work?
Well, first you get a soft winging. So you do your I know, there's a whole process. So
of course.
Your soft winging is less formal than the actual official hard winging.
It sounds like it.
Yeah, the soft winging is where you get a patch with like Velcro on the back
They
of
like
it.
draw a picture of what it's going to look like.
Yeah, it's like a little sticker. They put it on your forehead.
Good job.
Yeah, so you fly your very last flight, and as long as you passed your flight,
As long as you come back.
yeah, as long as you don't die and all your landings equal your takeoffs, it's fine.
Okay.
So you do your last flight. It's usually as a 2-ship. So you have two. So I did mine with my buddy Rich, and we did aerial maneuvers, and then we came back to the base, and then once we landed, all of our squadron mates were waiting out there, and of course they pour champagne all over your head,
That's
and
awesome.
yeah, all this fun stuff. And so, and then you get your soft wings, and it's just a Velcro patch, and it's got your name on it. And then sometimes you get a call sign. Usually you don't until your fleet squadron, but you definitely get your wings. And so then later they have a whole ceremony for the graduating class.
I just got chills.
Oh, she got a goosebump, y'all.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really neat. And then you can have one person or some people who are important to you, like putting your wings on.
Oh,
Yeah.
so if you had family in the military, something like that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I earned mine in August of 2002. So anyway, so her career and my career were very similar, except I didn't end up being a felon.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I think I know who you're talking
Do
about
you know?
now.
Okay, so after she got her wings, she probably went to the centrifuge in California, which is a hilarious place to go. All right, so this is called the spin and puke.
Oh, yeah.
So you go down to California. There's actually 2 facilities, but I went to the one in California. So you go in there and you sit inside this cockpit looking thing, and you pull back on the stick, and you keep pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling until they figure out what your resting G tolerance is. So
I can't even do the teacups at Disney World, or I'd shoot.
yeah, you'd be screwed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This I would be definitely ground control.
Yeah, my resting G tolerance, well, back then was like 8 Gs without like working at it and squeezing my legs and breathing different.
What's average? Like, what would you say most people?
It depends on the person. So I'm short, and women typically don't G-lock. Like, they don't pass out in the jet or throw up.
It's because we can bear children, and
yeah, we're bearing down all the time. So, but if you get like a tall, thin guy, oh, he's gonna G-lock, he's gonna puke. I mean, without fail.
Aren't most astronauts tall, thin guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, it's just the weight loss program.
That Tang diet.
Yeah. Yeah. So, she probably went to the I just couldn't find it in my research, but I'm just assuming based on what normally happens that she would have gone to the centrifuge, because you have to do G training so you can figure out what it feels like.
Yeah.
Because you have to know what you have these different phases of G locking. The G lock is when you pass out from G's. So
it's just inevitable. That's when the test stops. You black out.
Well, I did have a friend who went through with me, and she ended up G-locking, and she fell forward onto the stick, and it held the stick back. And that was the first time in history they had to push the big red safety button inside the tank where the instructor was.
Is this the same reaction? Like, you see those videos of people riding roller coasters and stuff, and they'll pass out?
Yeah.
Okay. And so it's not going to be like a hard pass out. You'll pass out, and then most people, except your friend, are like, huh!
Well, yeah. So they're changing the G force on your body. So sometimes it's laterally so that your inner ear can change its behavior.
That sounds great.
Yeah. And then you have G force from the front, which is typically, so space shuttle launches, you're going to have a G force from the front. That's why they're like tilted backwards when they launch. And then when you're in a jet, you're having the G force come straight through your chest or at an angle, at a 45-degree angle from the front.
Okay.
Yeah. But like not from the back. But everybody's ridden in an elevator where it goes down a little bit too fast and then your stomach goes up. That's a negative G. Yeah. So here on Earth, we're at 1 G.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm a 1G-er.
You're a 1G-er.
Yeah.
But we used to say in flight school, like we used to call it 0 Gs because we studying and practicing at 0 Gs before the G onset, and you can't think anymore. Yeah. So I was telling you, when you're in the centrifuge, your curtains start to close from the sides, and everybody has a different thing that happens.
Yeah.
Sometimes their vision grays out. Sometimes the curtain closed. My curtains close from the sides.
Or like tunneling.
Yeah, you get the tunnel vision. It's not usually a circle. It's usually a rectangle or a square that's in the vision. And sometimes you don't even notice. Like I had a buddy that, I don't want to say his name because he's like running a carrier right now. But anyway, he G-locked. We have this thing called the brake. And so the brake is when you do a super fast, sharp turn over the runway to slow down before you land. And he G-locked because he's a tall, skinny guy. He G-locks in the brake. Well, when you're coming in and you have to request landing, you talk to the tower and you say, whatever your call sign is, Thunder 11 or whatever for the brake.
Cookie Monster 2000.
Yeah, Cookie Monster 2000 for the brake. So he brakes. Well, he's in the back. He's an NFO. So they brake and then he G-locks, but his pilot didn't know that. And his pilot's like, hey, bro, are you going to call the numbers? And he's like, so he wakes up and he just says 7 at the numbers.
Oh,
okay.
no.
So what he just said was he's Blue Angel number 7 at the numbers. And so
he's like listing his address and social security.
Well, he reported in the way that a Blue Angel would report, except that he's not a Blue Angel.
Oh,
and so and the problem is everybody in the ready room is listening to the comms. So everybody heard it. And so, yeah, he got kind of made fun of. Love
7.
you, buddy. Love you, friend. Yeah. So anyway, so she went through the spin and puke, and then she would have gone through some other pipelines. Well, so she actually went through the same pipeline I did, and she became an electronic warfare officer. So that's like real nerdy. Mm-hmm. All right. So think about Spaceballs.
I love Spaceballs.
You know when he's saying jam the radar and then there's like jam on the screen?
Yeah.
It's like that, except we don't have jam.
Oh.
Yeah, we jam radars.
Okay.
Yeah. So she actually went to Corey Station. I didn't go to Corey Station. That's where the enlisted folks go. But I went to Whidbey Island, Washington instead.
Oh.
Yeah. Also, guys, there's no G in Whidbey Island. It's a D. DB. Whidbey Island. People call it Whigby.
Yeah.
All the time. Stop. There's no G.
No G. 0 G.
This is it right now. Stop it.
Okay.
So
public service announcement.
Yeah. So she went to Corey Station in Pensacola and learned all about nerdy radar jamming stuff that I won't get into because it's like top secret and stuff.
Yeah. Barf could figure it out.
Barf could have. Yeah. So then she went to the armpit of the world. Well,
is this
I've
the place that you were in up north?
No, this is a little more California.
Oh.
Where you're going to get a kidney infection probably from the water.
Ah.
Yeah. That place is disgusting.
That's on their brochure.
First of all, it smells like chicken shit. The whole town.
Do they like pump it through the air like
awful.
Disney?
Well, it's like it's out in the middle of nowhere. It's like farmlands and.
What's it close by? Like, what's the biggest city it's close to?
I don't know.
The
ocean.
Okay.
It's awful.
Yeah.
You'd have to look it up on a map. I just remember it's terrible, and I got a kidney infection because their water is literally yellow.
I got giardia.
It's just under brown, that color yellow.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Where you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's coming out of the pipe. It's fine. So she learned how, and this is another airplane that you get to look up, so that she learned how to fly the EA-7L Corsair 2.
Come on, just give them nicknames.
EA-7L. L as in Lima.
Uh-huh.
As in Licky.
Licky.
The Corsair 2. Yeah, so here's I could actually show you a picture, or you can look it up.
Yeah, if you print it off, chick, why am I?
Yeah, why are you Googling?
Oh, wow, your printer needs some new ink.
Shut your mouth.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Okay.
It's a fun little airplane, and it was the precursor to what I flew, and we'll talk about that here in a second. But so she was also assigned to VAQ 34. What does that mean? Letters and numbers. I don't know.
No.
It sounds like a barcode.
I'm just going to read my social out and hope that I'm close. Is it a social security number?
Yeah, it's actually a math equation.
I have no interest.
Oh, God. All right, so VAQ. I was in VAQ 135. So a V is fixed wing, so not a helicopter.
Vix wing?
It's a fixed wing.
Okay.
Yes, so V is for fixed wing, and then A.
Of course.
Yeah,
Why wouldn't it
makes
be?
sense.
Yeah.
And then versus F for fighter. So A is attack.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then Q is electronic.
There we go.
You see, there's a Q in there there's no U after the Q though. Electron quick.
Did you say niner? Did I catch a niner in there?
Niner. So you got fixed wing, electronic attack,
Okay.
squadron,
Okay.
and then I was in 135. The Black Ravens, also known as the Black Raisins.
Oh, that's cool. Heard it from the grapevine.
Grapes. So she was in VAQ 34, which was out in Point Magoo. Point Magoo.
You gotta say it like that too, even when you're writing it.
Magoo. And that's out in California. Yeah, she had a real bummer of she had to go to California, followed by Florida, followed by California. There was a stint in Houston, which was probably awful, but whatever.
Breakneck. Where were you with the neck in it?
Oh, Dam Neck.
Damn neck.
Yes.
Yeah,
that was Virginia. Yeah, so there in Point Magoo, she flew the Corsair 2. That rhymes. Point Magoo with the Corsair 2. I just thought of that. Yeah. She also flew this other thing called an ERA-3B, Sky Warrior.
I'm not looking him up anymore.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. They do recon.
Ooh.
Yeah, they're out there with their spy glasses on.
Okay.
Yeah, stay over there. Anyway, you're probably a flying grape. She qualified during her squadron time as a mission commander, but she also qualified as an electronic warfare lead. So these don't mean anything to you, but they are like really big. That's a really big deal. So most people leave the squadron with their mission commander, but to be an electronic attack warfare lead is like that, especially as an NFO, is like,
she's like the valedictorian.
yeah, she's not the co-valedictorian anymore. She's the full-on valedictorian being a badass. Yeah.
Okay.
So level 1 is basically you can fly in our plane, but don't touch stuff. Level 2 is like, a little bit more stuff, but you're not in charge yet. Level 3 is you're in charge of your airplane, but not everyone else's airplane. And then level 4, which is what she got qualified in, is you're in charge of the whole entire mission and all the other airplanes.
Holy cow.
Yeah. And not just the jamming platforms. It's the whole entire mission.
Atta girl.
Yeah. I didn't get that. Anyway, so because I left. I was like, I gotta go. I'm gonna go get pregnant, and I don't care.
You could have told me, and I would have believed it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. I got level 8 actually.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
27. Yeah. So let's get personal.
Let's do it.
Yeah. On April 6th, this is where we diverge.
This is where we diverge?
This is where we diverge.
I'm pretty sure it's on page 1.
Yeah, well, I mean me and her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, it was a little bit before that, but like when she was born. But anyway, so on April 6, 1988, she married her academy classmate, Richard Nowak. Wacky Nowak. He was also an NFO. So she got married at some point when she was in her fleet squadron. It's not really clear. Sometime in there. I don't think it was really that important to her. Mm-hmm. She's like space, whatever. Yeah, I'm married. So after her fleet tour, she followed a fairly common path. She went to Naval Postgraduate School, where, of course, she had to get 18 more master's degrees. She got her master's degree in aeronautical engineering and another degree in astronautical engineering. Just 3 engineering degrees.
She is just boring me at this point.
I can't even.
What?
I can't even do 10% on my bill.
No. 10%.
All right, 15, whatever. It's between 10 and 20. I mean, just add some points. So, yeah, a girl can't be too overachieving. In February 1992, she had a sweet little baby boy. Mm-hmm. So while she's doing her master's degree and getting another second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth engineering degree. She's having a baby. A whole ass newborn baby.
Now I just hate her. I mean,
it's ridiculous, right? So after she graduates grad school, she transferred from flying status as an NFO to being an AEDO. So that is an Aerospace Engineering Duty Officer. Duty. Basically, they like buy and sell parts for airplanes.
Okay.
That's the basic. But also, like, they're the biggest freaking nerds on Earth.
Okay.
I have several AEDO friends, and they're nerds.
Oh, you're friends with them?
I mean, they literally, I have a friend who literally created a system for his Christmas tree with an auto watering. Like, that's who these people are. He's like, well, actually, I can, the tree doesn't have to be plastic.
You should see my lighting outside. It's all rigged up to different emotions. All right.
So then she went on to test pilot school, which is like impossible to get into.
Yeah.
They're like equivalent to the Top Gun people, only nerds. They're like the nerdy Top Gun people. But I'll tell you what, Top Gun people are really fucking nerdy.
Yeah, I would imagine.
They're some of the biggest nerds I have ever met in my life. I mean, and by the way, I went to Top Gun like over a weekend, and there was no one playing volleyball there.
Without their shirts off? Don't tell me that. I just want to believe that that's what happens.
I was like, I feel disappointed. And what the fuck is with that mustache? Anyway.
I don't mind a mustache, but yeah.
No. This is the kind of mustache from like the 80s, the porn stash. Yeah.
Bow, bow, bow.
So then, as if that's not hard enough. Okay, so she applied to test pilot school 6 times, and on the 6th time she got accepted.
Okay.
It's like impossible to get there.
Well, she did it.
She did. She's doing all the things. So, and also having just babies. So in June of
I couldn't remember my address when I was pregnant, let alone be. Okay.
You're probably pregnant right now.
Don't you put that evil on me.
In June 1994, she became an aircraft systems project officer. Okay, so in June of 1994, she became an aircraft systems project officer at Test and Evaluation Facility. So these are like the nerds. So they buy a jet. They have to test the jet out to make sure like people aren't going to die.
As one does.
Yeah. I don't think that the T&E people did very well on the Osprey, which keeps crashing.
Yeah.
Literally this weekend, guys. I have friends that are Osprey pilots, and I'm glad they're retired. It's awful. You know, that's another widowmaker. That's what they call them.
Really?
Yeah. So that's up at Pax River. That's Patuxent River, Maryland, but everybody calls it Pax River because who the fuck can spell Patuxent?
I don't know if I can spell Pax. P-A-X?
P-A-X? Good job.
Thanks.
Yeah, so basically she's just testing like aircraft readiness and just making sure that fighter jets, she's specifically with fighter jets, that the fighter jets are
safe to fly.
Good to go, as it were. So she's part of a team that actually developed the FA-18 Hornet and my jet, the EA-6B Prowler.
That's cool.
It sucks that she's so disappointing later.
Yeah.
So then she moves on to a really boring job where the Navy just like buy jets and parts and all this other shit. Nobody cares. So
Yawn.
No, that's the acquisition side. And so at this point, she has accumulated over 1,500 flight hours in 30 different aircraft.
Good night.
Yeah. I mean, she's just riding in them. We call that a strap hanger, where you're holding onto the strap.
American Airlines calls it platinum.
Yes, platinum. She has gone platinum.
Okay.
What was it in Spaceballs? We've gone plaid.
I love Spaceballs.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I hate a desk job. Like, give me my airplane.
That does not surprise me.
Yeah. So Lisa still had her hopes and dreams on space.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lot has happened though since then. So, I've never had a desire to fly in space.
I think it would be so cool.
No.
There's no way I'd get up there because I'd puke in my helmet.
Yeah.
But I think it's so cool.
Well, like this is a weird piece of information about me. If I'm looking at a map and you zoom out until the planet is in space, that stresses me out. I have a fear of heights.
And holes.
Yes, holes. I don't like holes or heights. Yes.
It's usually tall people that are afraid of heights.
Yeah.
I think it's that G thing, the G force.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. Yeah.
I'm not tall. I can't even reach my cereal without a stool.
I'm just glad my kids are taller than me now. I'm like, hey, buddy, can you get that bowl? And he's like, yeah, sure, Mom.
Get it down
Hold
for
on.
Mama.
Is my beard hitting you? So after being selected out of 2,400 applicants, she was selected in June of 1995 to be part of a new group of astronauts.
Cool.
I have a buddy named John who I won't tell you where he works because he probably doesn't want people to know, but he applied to be an astronaut probably 7 times and didn't get accepted. And he is like one of the most wicked, smart people I've ever met in my life. What? He's also like a nice guy, and he's not from the Naval Academy. It's probably why I didn't get accepted. Well, but it's also like a timing thing. Like if we don't need astronauts right now, you're just not going to get selected.
Yeah, I don't. And at the beginning, a lot of it had to do with physicality. I'm sure it's still. I mean, now that Elon Musk is sending people up in like Coke bottles.
Yeah. On a slingshot.
Yeah. I mean, NSYNC's up there right now. And I don't think. I don't think.
They should be launched into space for sure.
Bye, bye, bye.
So, anyway, so she hopped in her car and she headed on over to her favorite spot, one of her favorite spots on Earth, back at Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. So on May 1st, 1996, NASA announced that 10 pilots and 25 mission specialists would be headed into training, and she was one of the mission specialists.
Cool.
Yeah. That means you're a nerd.
Mm-hmm.
I like nerds. I wish I was one. I'd probably be making a lot more money.
I always make friends with nerds.
Yeah. Same.
I'm like the fun time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do we get together?
You stalked me.
I did. I'm a stalker. So her class, the class of 1996, was the largest group of trainees since 1978. They had a total of 35 trainees.
But that was like big time space push. Like it makes me so sad that we're not doing more of that.
I don't know. I feel like we should maybe take care of the planet that we're living on because we don't live in space.
I know. We've just got this evacuation plan on Mars right now.
I know. We can do. Well, I think that was just put on hold recently.
Yeah.
Because there was some sort of solar storm or something about the sun where it's like hot. I don't know. I don't know what space rules.
Yeah,
I don't know what space rules are. So those classrooms were packed with the 35 people. They called themselves the Sardines. Yes. How original, folks.
Yeah, it sounds like a nerd joke.
Nerd jokes. In order to work at NASA, you kind of have to live in Texas. So she packed up her family and she moved to Clear Lake, Texas. And then her husband, Richard, who is also an NFO, decided, well, she sounds like she's got the plan going on.
Yeah.
So I'll just go into the reserves. He went into the reserves at 11 years. And
so she's following her dreams and he's supporting her.
And he's being a good wife.
That sounds great.
Yeah. Well, he actually ended up working at NASA too.
Yeah, a lot of them do.
Yeah, they do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole thing. So he worked as a contractor for this company called Barrios Technology.
Okay.
And he was in mission control.
Cool.
I don't know. Did he know my uncle? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe they're Facebook friends.
Maybe.
MySpace friends.
MySpace, yeah. So for her training, Lisa went through more survival training. She studied geology in the Grand Canyon.
I mean, I guess if you're going to...
Space rocks.
Yeah.
I guess.
Rocks.
Yeah, of course, classwork. Nobody likes those.
They sent a botanist up to space, so I guess there's a use for rocks.
I know. Well, Matt Damon had to do all the, potato growing or whatever.
Matt Damon. Y'all know what we're talking about.
If you don't, please watch movies.
America!
Fuck yeah!
Coming to save the motherfucking day.
I love that we have the same brain.
Yes.
That was totally not planned, guys.
Yeah, it just rolls around in our heads and it sometimes comes out at the same time.
Like a little pea.
Yeah.
So as a mission specialist, she was required to fly a minimum of 4 hours. That's pretty standard, and that's in the T-38, which Paige is not going to look up.
No,
but you
I'm
can.
done. I'm done.
T-38 Talon. So she trained in the water obviously, because it's weightless.
Mm-hmm.
I like the water because I weigh less.
I love water.
And then you get out and you're like, I weigh so much.
In Texas,
Yeah.
it's like I'm dry.
Yeah. And so she also got to fly in this aircraft called the KC-135 Stratotanker, and they called it the Vomit Comet. So the flight trajectory for this aircraft...
That's what I call the teacups.
Yes, that is the teacups. So that's your Stratotanker teacup ride.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so this aircraft actually flies a trajectory that's similar to feeling like you're in space.
Okay, it's called the Vomit
Comet.
Cool.
Yeah. I like that. Nerds.
Nerds.
Yeah, I had that sensation actually when I flew out to Rochester to meet our buddies, the Blue Angels, because they were like our instructors when we were in flight school.
Yeah, well,
same.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, we got to take a ride on Fat Albert, and I was in the back. Not Fat Albert from the TV show.
I was gonna say,
but the airplane.
Okay, you were like in a baby Bjorn on the back.
I was like, jump more, Daddy. So I do have one recommendation. If you're going to ride in the Fat Albert and they turn on the Jado bottles, I recommend not looking directly at them out the window.
That means nothing to me, but go
A
ahead.
Jado bottle is like a big rocket strapped to the back of the wing, and they turn it on, and then they jet propel in a short distance, vertical.
It's making me sick just listening.
Yeah, and then you fly and you're like sideways hanging there. It's so fun.
Sounds great.
You're just hanging there and giggling
We're gonna die.
and staring out the window at a Jado bottle and burning your retinas. Anyway, so in early 2001, she's in mission specialist land now. She gets pregnant with twins. Great.
Speaking of,
What we need as mission specialist is less sleep.
wow.
Yeah. So at this point, she's working in the astronaut office. Because there's a whole office for astronauts. They're just floating around in there like balloons at the top.
High fiving each
Do they
other.
get caught in the fan? I don't know.
The big ass fans.
The big ass fans. We got this at the gym. Yeah. So she actually started specializing in running the space shuttle's robotic arm.
Like
robot.
Thor.
So she also worked in Capcom, which is basically when they say, Houston, we have a problem.
That's
Capcom's who responds.
Okay.
Yeah. And she got to be Capcom for STS-100. I don't know what that is either. One of the space shuttle missions. I don't know. Some people went to space and did space shit.
That's cool.
Yeah. Sounds cool. Yeah. So that was that STS-100 was actually the Space Shuttle Endeavour
Oh yeah.
mission. Yeah.
Okay.
You know.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, they words instead of numbers.
Yeah.
And that was the one where they actually installed the robot arm on the International Space Station.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
October 2001, her little babies are born. Now she has 3 little boo-boos. 2 of them look alike. Or maybe they don't. I don't know. You don't look alike.
No, and they
You
run
don't look anything like your brother.
No, they run in different directions.
Yeah.
It's just a whole.
Yeah, it's wild. So her and Richard, because Richard is the dad.
Richard.
There's a dad here, right? So he's working at NASA. And so what they ended up doing to split their time, because they're both working in mission control and like space stuff, you can't stop
Can you
that.
imagine her at
Can you
book
hold
club?
for 8 hours, please?
How insufferable would she
Book
be?
club.
Yeah. Hey, I didn't have time to get a casserole because I've got 18 children and I'm running NASA.
I'm running the whole universe.
Yeah.
So they ended up splitting up their time where Richard would go to work and then she would be at home, and then she would go to work and Richard would be at home.
Sounds like a good time for marriage.
Yeah, sounds amazing. I mean, but you know, Academy people, they make it work.
Yeah.
So they did this until Richard was called back to active duty in 2002 to support OEF. So he's going to Afghanistan and she's running NASA. And
Sounds like they need an au pair.
they need a nanny. I feel
Yeah.
like that should be some kind of stipend.
Something that's like standard issue.
Yeah. And gas wasn't that expensive back then, so they should have been able to, you know, spend a little bit more money.
Just drive her over from France.
Right. On the bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, every astronaut dreams of being a single mom. Yay. Thanks, military. So in December 2002, NASA announces the crew for STS-118, which was scheduled for November of 2003. Lisa's named the mission specialist for this, and she's alongside with Scott Kelly. You remember Scott Kelly? His brother was the one whose wife got shot, Gabby.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, she, Gabby Gifford, she's the one who got shot in the face by a protester. Stop shooting people in the face. What the fuck?
Scott who?
Scott Kelly.
Oh, okay.
He's a bald guy.
Oh, yeah.
He's actually a twin.
Is he?
Yeah, him and his brother are twins. And they're both astronauts.
I know this guy.
Do you know him?
I met this guy.
You don't know him that well because you didn't even remember his name.
No, I don't. I mean,
You're such a name dropper.
It was like a fan type situation at the wedding where
he was
all
stuck
these
in the fan in the astronaut room.
No, everybody's like, "Can I get his autograph?" No, that's weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
I'm going to.
I'm going to get it. Yeah, put it right here on my boob.
Okay.
Oh, that's the tattoo you had. I'm
why I had it
put it all
removed.
together. Yeah. So she was a mission specialist for that mission with Scott Kelly, Charles Hobaugh, Scott Parazinski, David, which is Daffyd. I don't know. I think he's Russian. Williams, and then Barbara Morgan. Yeah. They're wearing hats.
Well, they're in
Santa
space.
hats. They're in space wearing Santa hats.
Yeah.
The twins.
Okay, carry on.
Yeah, they did a lot better than you and your brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're adopted
They turned out
too,
different.
so there's a lot of...
There's something going on
you
there.
never
Yeah.
know.
Well, I mean, whatever. So in February 1st, 2001, the space shuttle Columbia, right? We have the disaster there. And then the 7 astronauts that were on there were killed.
Yeah.
So Lisa actually ended up being a casualty assistance officer for that particular flight, and she ended up helping the flight surgeon's wife. A flight surgeon does not do surgery, by the way. They're just a doctor.
Just a
They're
doctor.
just a doctor.
Boring.
It's not like they're an aviator. God. So his name is Jonathan Clark. So she helped the Clark family and then did the casualty assistance. And the wife was really happy with Lisa's help on that. She paid the bills, did all the things, got everything done. But once you're not your husband's not an astronaut anymore, you got to go. It's like working in, it's like being the first lady. If your husband's dead, you got to move out.
Get your boxes packed.
Bye. Here's your flower. See ya.
It's quite a community, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure they had life insurance.
Yeah, I would think.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we don't provide that. Dental. We don't provide that if you're flying to space.
Vision.
It's actually really hard to get flight insurance or life insurance if you're a pilot. Hubs has a problem with that. I don't fly anymore, but he, sometimes we
it's high risk.
It is, and you're doing it on purpose.
Yeah. I'm a base jumper and bungee jumper, and I just can't get covered.
I don't like gravity. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So, here's a side note. The pilot for the Columbia, his name was Commander McCool. I know, right?
Oh.
I know. Okay, so he's Willie McCool. He's actually a Prowler pilot. Willie McCool. That's his whole ass name.
Yeah,
now,
he better be a badass.
He's one of those guys who is an Academy guy that you wouldn't have known he was an Academy guy. He's like the best dude on earth.
Yeah.
He was a Prowler pilot, and he's well before my time, but he was an avid runner, and we actually have a memorial in Whidbey Island. When you Google his face, when you just look at what he looks like the nicest guy he looks exactly like what you would think he would act like. He's just the nicest guy. He's so good.
He looks like that guy you'd set your sister up with.
Yeah, he's just such a nice guy, Willie. And so he, and you don't even need that was his call sign. You don't even need a call sign.
No,
your name
just
is
McCool.
Right?
Willie McCool.
Well, he was an avid runner, and we have a memorial on Whidbey Island for Prowler aviators who have died in the line of duty.
Yeah, that's the memorial.
Yeah, and so his running shoes are actually there at the memorial.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
he's up there with some other aviators that died. So
Wow.
stop dying. I don't like it. Anyway, so he died. But anyway, that's just a little sidebar, as it were. And then, she was the casualty assistance officer. And Laurel Clark, who was Jonathan Clark's wife, said, quote, she did everything. She went through everything. Navy paperwork, finances, bills, bank accounts. She took care of Clark's son, Ian, during the month afterward. I mean, like, this chick is amazing, right? So, so she saw that what it was like to lose one of her best friends and Ian to lose a mother or a father or, something like that.
This was before she went up in space.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, she hadn't been to space yet. In January 2004, so after that happened, we are missing a space shuttle now. So we have to
rebuild,
do a new one now, right? And so then the calendar gets moved. And so in January 2004, Lisa and her fellow NASA astronauts went to Canada for a super fun 11-day cold weather survival training.
Yeah.
That sounds like something I would never want to do.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't even like camping, like in the best conditions.
I don't mind camping. I really hate the cold a lot.
Yeah.
And we actually, when we were flying over water, we had to wear these suits. These things are so awful. I mean, they're going to save us if we're like in the water or whatever, but I'm not claustrophobic all the time, but only sometimes. Mm-hmm. And you have to pull this ridiculous rubber suit
it's like
over
the
your
seal
head.
Suit, like the wetsuit. Yeah.
It's a wetsuit.
Mm. And they stink.
Oh, it smells like just ass and rubber. It's awful. It's awful. But like getting it over your face and it's so tight and constricting my face, I was like, I'm going to die.
It's like putting a condom over your head.
Right. Oh, it's bad. And it's not a baggy condom.
Oh.
It's not as tight. It's like you bought the wrong size, man.
You're not Magnum.
Yeah. So they go to Canada for their 11-day cold weather survival training. And she's training with this guy, William O'Fallane. O'Fallane. I think that's right.
Okay.
She'd met Bill actually in 1995 at Pax River, where they were nerding together. He's a pilot. He's a monkey. And so when they got back from Canada, from their winter wonderland training, they decided to start hooking up.
When did she have time?
You have time, but between launching space missions, having children, being married to another person who's not Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Yeah. Despite knowing, as naval officers, they could be charged with conduct unbecoming an officer.
Ooh.
That is a UCMJ violation, so that's the Uniform Code of Military Justice.
Oh, so it's not just frowned upon, it's punishable.
The reason a lot of people don't understand what the purpose of that rule is, it's because you can be blackmailed. So if you have a clearance, right, then you can be blackmailed into giving secrets. If you don't tell me this top secret information, I'm going to tell the world about your affair.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So there's lots of things that happen under the UCMJ that are like, sound so weird.
Yeah.
That you're just like, why is that a rule?
It's a bit old fashioned.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's sleeping with everyone. Duh. All right, let's talk about old Billy Boy.
Okay.
All right, so William O'Fallane, I hope I'm saying it right. I don't really care anyway. He was born on March 29th, which is the day after my birthday. Yeah, but 10 years earlier, in 1965, in Fort Belvoir, maybe it's Belvoir, Virginia.
Okay.
But he grew up in Anchorage, Alaska. Those are different. He learned to fly float planes very young, and in 1983, he graduated from high school. Great job graduating. He wasn't like Lisa, who was like overachieving in high school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he just graduated.
Good, because I can't listen to another one of those.
I know. He attended Oregon State University and got a bachelor's in electrical engineering. And then he graduated from there in 1988. And then after graduation, he was commissioned into the Navy through the same thing I did, which was Officer Candidate School in Pensacola, Florida.
Yay!
Yep. So he went through flight school in Texas, probably Kingsville, also known as Wingsville, because everyone gets their wings.
Aw, y'all are so clever.
Yeah. Well, there's Meridian, Mississippi, where they call it a tritium because you get a trident. Everybody gets a trident. You ain't getting your wings here. So he earned his wings of gold in September 1990, and then he became an F-18 Hornet pilot. He's a Hornet guy.
Okay.
Those guys are 50-50. They're either dicks or they're great.
I feel like that's guys in general, though, right?
Yeah,
They're either great or dicks.
Yeah. So he later went on to be a Top Gun guy.
Okay.
Yes. Officially, it's called the U.S. Navy Strike Fighter Tactics Instructor Program, but
Let's
way too many
abbreviate
words.
that. Yeah.
Is that a hyphenated word? So, again, no dudes playing volleyball. It's such a bummer. It's actually one of the most anal retentive places on Earth. I mean,
I believe it.
You know how you get like a pen and you want to write like with a dry erase marker?
Mm-hmm.
They can't close the pen with a clicking sound. They can't click. They can't slam it down into the little metal part by the dry erase board. I mean, it's all that weird shit that they do. And then also they fly airplanes and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They're anal retentive at Top Gun. Are you a Top Gun person? Write in. All right.
Or don't.
Yeah, please don't. So later he became a test pilot in Pax River, and that's where he met Lisa. So in 1998, he got his master's degree in aviation systems from University of Tennessee Space Institute. Is that a thing? I guess it is.
Yeah, I believe
Space
it.
Institute?
Yeah.
God, these nerds. I just can't.
I mean, I wasn't accepted there, but
Yeah.
I assume people are.
Yeah, so after he got his master's, he was selected into NASA Group 17 with Lisa. Yay!
Okay.
They're besties. His only NASA shuttle mission would be piloting the Discover STS-116 on December 2006 and logging 308 hours in space.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so let's jump back in time 2 years to right before Lisa and Bill returned from Canada in January 2004.
Where love was in the air.
Love is frozen in the air. Lisa and Bill must have snuggled up for the Winter Wonderland in Canada survival training, and it must have frozen their stellar brains. The fuck?
I
mean, literally, who works their ass off to be an astronaut just to like...
Screw it all up with...
What are you doing?
Yeah, I don't have
You're
time
smarter
for an
than-
affair, and she's way busier than me.
I know, right? I don't have any kind of time. No time. Yeah, so it wasn't too much after they started their affair around February 2005 that Bill's wife found emails between Bill and Lisa.
Yeah, it always comes to light.
Yeah. If we've learned one rule on any of our podcasts is you don't leave a digital trail, moron.
These are
People are
smart
gonna read
people,
it.
too.
You're smarter than this.
Yeah.
Come on, send a smoke signal. Seriously, Houston, we have a problem.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, Bill's wife filed for divorce.
Yeah.
As would I probably. And it was finalized in May 2005. And then Bill moved into an apartment. Yay.
He's got that studio apartment with like 3 pieces of furniture.
Yeah, he's doing it. And that's like the where the TV's sitting on the box it came in.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that. He gave the married mother of 3 a keys to his apartment. So he gave Lisa.
So now they've got a love shack.
Yeah. Did I mention she's married with 3 kids?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No, that did not escape me.
Yeah.
Twins.
Yeah. She had to keep her stuff somewhere, so she kept it at the apartment. But at least she became friends with all the people who were the neighbors.
Well, and I feel like if you're living next door to an astronaut, you may notice the coming and goings.
Well, you're like on TV as an astronaut.
Exactly.
Like what the...
Ugh, okay.
Well, I guess they don't know. They're like, I'm just a person.
Nah.
Married.
Sort of.
Whatever.
Sort of.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to commit adultery, do it in private.
Be a regular person.
Work at McDonald's.
Yes.
Or the QT up the street where the people who don't care work. So, I mean, and like, I'm not the church lady, right? I don't care either way. But I'm telling a story.
Yeah.
So, But what happened later is the main issue. So I have to take a moment and remind you that Bill and Lisa are astronauts working at NASA and doing missions.
Yep.
And so Lisa was originally assigned to the STS-122 mission that was supposed to launch in July of 2005. However, during the launch of the Space Shuttle Discovery, some debris separated from the external tank. And then that was actually the exact same problem that happened with the Columbia. So that was when the O-ring disaster happened.
Yes.
I actually dated a guy whose professor was the guy who created those O-rings. Anyway,
oh, really?
he was fired.
Yeah, it didn't work out so well.
Yep. So those were the O-rings that sealed the external tanks. And
yeah, kind
and
of.
those are, you got to have pretty good quality. Yeah, you can't have
No, it's not.
Mattel brand.
This is rated for 13 and over.
Maybe they bought it from the dollar store. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, well, as a tradition in NASA, when Lisa's space flight was finally going to be launched, NASA had a pre-launch party. Everyone attended, including her husband and 3 kids. Side note, her mission commander was Steve Kelly. That's the guy with the brother.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right. So the space shuttle with the STS-121 mission launched successfully on the 4th of July, 2006.
That's apropos.
Oh, well, that was actually the first time it had ever been launched on the 4th of July.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So during the space flight, Lisa and her teammate, Wilson, who is another mission commander, worked...
Wilson!
Instead of a volleyball, it was a robot arm.
Not a scuttly.
Yeah. And it didn't talk as much. So so they worked together on the robot arm, but Lisa didn't want to do anything that was out of the scope of her trained responsibilities. And that was frowned upon.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They were like, she's not a team player.
I feel like training's important for stuff like that, but I don't know.
It's not like you're in space.
It's a civilian answer.
Whatever. You know that women couldn't even go on spacewalks at that time because the NASA had to make budget cuts, and the only space suit size that made it were the larges for the men.
Okay, if hold on. I can take a pair of pants down to the tailor.
Yeah.
And we're cutting corners at NASA and
yeah.
Okay, carry on.
Well, they definitely saved money on those O-rings. I mean.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where we're going. Yeah, we're laughing at shenanigans. That's right. If you don't like it, go to a different podcast. So they returned back a few days later on July 17th, 2006, and then they did their usual homecoming rituals, traveling to the X Games and pitching the first ball at an Astros game and attending tailgate parties and signing autographs, and I've never done any of this shit.
No.
Well, Lisa and Bill are still banging.
Well, now they're on
at least he's divorced now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they're on a 3-day tour, 3-day cruise. What was it from?
3-day tour.
What was it from Gilligan's
Island? Yeah.
So at this point, Lisa's probably not super into her husband, Richard, because she's been in space and doing space things and also dating this other guy, Bill.
Well, and before that, they're just sort of passing in the night.
Yeah. Well, so their marriage imploded.
Yeah.
I know you're shocked by that.
Mm-mm.
She separated from Richard in January 2007. I would be real stressed out.
Mm-hmm.
You're flying in space. You have 3 kids.
Going through divorce.
Yeah. That sounds real stressful.
Yeah.
Xanax, take me away. So meanwhile, Bill was starting to shift away from Lisa.
Uh-oh.
Because she liked him, but he was like, meh.
Yeah, kind of over it.
Yeah. He was less interested in her, and their romance cooled a little bit.
And she wasn't too happy about that, I
Well,
imagine.
she still called him every single day.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. On their secret phone.
Ew, okay.
Yeah. If you have a secret phone, you're doing it wrong. Just get a divorce.
It's cheaper.
It's so
You don't get locked in
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
Verizon plan for a year.
What if it doesn't work for a year? I mean, come on. So Lisa didn't realize that while she was traveling to the UK on her post-space flight tour, that Bill started getting close to a woman named Colleen Shipman. So let's add more stress. Yeah, so separation, space. Now her boyfriend that she's probably in love with but doesn't want to admit is now dating Colleen.
While she's going through like the midst of a divorce.
Yeah.
Okay.
And being in space and having 3 engineering degrees. I wonder if she's still running track and field.
Yeah.
Even the most intelligent humans. Okay, so Bill broke it off with Lisa, and he thought she took it well.
She's like sitting there sharpening a knife while he's talking with her. He's like, she's cool. She's cool with it. Yeah. Okay.
I'll just be in the corner rocking back and forth.
I can see you through your window.
Well, him and Colleen, they start a full-blown relationship.
Like you do when you're single.
As one does.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because she's not married.
So they're just having a normal relationship.
They're having a normal relationship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds less stressful to me.
Right. So Colleen, this kind of gets forgotten about a little bit over time, but Colleen's actually an Air Force captain.
Hey.
Yeah, she's an engineer, and she's stationed at Patrick Air Force Base in Florida. So she's in the military. I mean, okay. So anyway, just keep that in mind for later. So Bill decided to tell Lisa about Colleen.
Probably during their one-on-one calls every day.
Well, yeah, it was during like lunch or whatever. I don't know. In his heart of hearts, he really thought like that Lisa was okay with it.
They could be adults about it.
Well, but Lisa and Bill, though, they continued to train for the MS-150, which I appreciate as a person who has MS. Mm-hmm. That's multiple sclerosis. So they're training for this bicycle charity and working out at the gym and having lunch, but they're broken up and he's dating someone else. It's going to end fine.
Yeah, but you talk to some of your guy friends and they're like, it's cool. We're just friends. She spends the night every once in a while. Like, no.
Nope.
Mm-mm. You might be friends.
She's not.
Yeah.
And sometimes the dude is crazy too.
Yeah.
So Colleen started to become uncomfortable with Lisa's bike being there. She's like, yeah, so this chick who's still married with kids, like what?
Yeah, get a storage unit.
Get your own bike ramp. What are you doing?
Yeah.
So in January 2007, when Lisa separated from Richard and Bill broke up with her, NASA also said, hey, listen, so because you weren't a team player earlier, you've been removed from this mission commander position and we replaced you with somebody else.
Oh, so everything's crumbling around her.
Yeah. So Mark Kelly, who is Steve Kelly's twin brother. Gabby Gifford's husband. He was quoted saying, quote, Wilson was chosen was chosen because she's a team player and was well deserving. Nowak was not, unquote.
Yeesh.
They are not kind at NASA.
Yeah, well, I mean, but you've got to make quick and harsh decisions. I'm pretty sure that's probably how they communicate as well.
If I'm going to space where things might go wrong, I need you to be my teammate.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah, that's fair. I understand all of this.
Yeah. So anyway, Lisa was assigned to desk duty at Capcom, which she was so thrilled about. Mm-hmm. Lisa's life was imploding.
Yeah.
Does sound quite disastrous.
I feel like I could guess where this was going.
I feel like this is going to be bad. So, survey says, instead of leaning on family and friends, taking a vacation, doing a yoga class, zenning.
Enjoying not having a crazy, hectic life.
Yeah. 6 days after she was told she was going to be removed from the mission, she decided to go on a vacation, all right. She packed latex gloves for her vacation.
Okay, yeah.
A black wig.
Check.
A BB pistol.
Check.
Ammunition.
Right next to a bikini.
Pepper spray. A hooded trench coat.
What? A mustache, glasses.
Right.
What are we doing?
A drilling hammer? I don't even know what that is.
A drilling hammer.
What does that mean?
What
are you going to do with that?
Yeah, that's your receipt at Home Depot. You're not up to anything good.
Does that fit in the trench coat? I have questions. Black gloves, Can't have too many gloves. And an 8-inch Gerber folding knife, which I might add, I flew with in my flight suit pocket. So that I get that one. But with the rest of the stuff added up together in the whole sentence, I don't know.
My brother-in-law carries a pocket knife, which my husband and his other brother do. But he also carries, like, he's like Inspector Gadget. He's got a flashlight and, yeah, he's got all the things.
Go Gadget robot arm on the ISS.
Yeah, that's my brother-in-law.
Right? Yeah. So she got into her husband's car, the one she separated from.
Richard.
Okay. Yeah. And then she drove from Houston to Florida.
Ugh.
Hey, Richard, I got to borrow your car. Don't worry about that trench coat.
And the trash bags lining the trunk. Sorry to Dexter out your car.
Yeah, don't worry about that bag of hot dogs in the seat. I'm hungry. And she drove 900 miles from Houston to Orlando. What'd she do that for?
To go to Disney World?
Yeah. Not because Disneyland. Fun in February.
Oh, no.
No, she went to meet Colleen.
No.
Yeah.
Colleen was expecting her?
Yeah. She's like, why is your bike here? I don't think she
just got rid of you.
didn't
Groundhog
just leave.
Day.
So that's a long way to drive.
Yeah.
How many stops do you think she took?
Oh, I don't know. Rage driving is different than normal driving.
That is 100% true.
Right. Less bathroom breaks.
Well, bathroom breaks is the issue. So police would later say that she didn't need any because she was wearing maximum absorbency garments.
No, this is the diaper astronaut.
This is the diaper astronaut.
Oh, it's all coming back to me now.
It's all coming back to me now. Anyway, on February 5th, 2007, 6 days after being ditched by everyone on Earth, Lisa went to the Orlando airport and she waited for Colleen's flight to land.
Ooh.
That's what you do when you're a weird stalker in a trench coat. Not because I can't get past trench coat. Not because she's a lovely friend who's picking up her buddy. No, that's not the reason. So Colleen's jet landed around 1 a.m. Also, like, are you on a budget? What is happening? And she went to baggage claim, but her baggage wasn't there.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Let me guess.
Oh, welcome to Florida. So Colleen went to baggage claim, and they told her, your bags are on another flight.
This wouldn't happen if I was in
this would happen if I was not on Spirit Airlines.
JetBlue.
And it wasn't going to arrive until 3 a.m. Great. It's a good thing I've been up for 25 hours.
Yeah.
See? Always carry on, Paige.
Yeah.
This is what you do. I don't remember the last time I checked a bag, actually.
Well, even now, they overbook flights so much that I've been carrying for the last few years. I made that change once they lost my luggage. But now, if you are in group 6, they're like, we're going to have to check it anyway. So you can't win.
Don't be in group 6. Just get the first class in the front with the special pretzels.
Okay, thanks. I'm so glad.
Yeah, I'm here for you.
Thanks.
So, but at least Colleen got a $12 food voucher. Shitty airport food. What's $12 going to buy you?
Bag of pretzels.
A half opened bag of pretzels and an apple.
Just rub salt in my eyes. Just get it over with.
So Colleen finally got her bags at 3:15 a.m. and then she took a shuttle bus to the parking area at 3:28 a.m. It is 3 o'clock in the morning at the airport. She's exhausted. Colleen said she felt like she was being followed.
Yeah.
By zombies at 3 a.m. with their luggage. So now Colleen is a very small woman. I actually looked at her Instagram page. She looks like a lovely woman, but she is very small. And she's someone who definitely does not want to be followed.
Yeah, nobody wants to be followed.
No, she's alone. She's feeling followed. Out to, like, her car's parked out in one of the satellite parking areas, so she had to take a bus out there.
I've been there. That's like the shittiest day ever.
But so once you find out, like, who's following her, like, she got on a bus to go to the satellite park, so somebody followed the bus. I bet you can guess who it is. It's not the Cookie Monster.
No, I bet she's in a trench coat.
When she's a hot dog in a trench coat. So when she got to her car, she quickly got in, locked the doors, but then somebody came up and banged on the window. It was Lisa.
Yeah.
So Colleen realized it was Lisa, and then Lisa, after she slapped the window, and then Lisa asked her for a ride and started crying.
I would hit her with my car out of principle at that point.
I know. I would be like,
what is...
I don't have your bicycle. God.
How did you know I was here?
Girl.
So did she give her a ride?
So at this point, I would be pressing on the gas pedal.
Yeah.
She did not give her ass a ride.
Okay, good.
No.
Yeah, you run over, back over, run over.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's what we would have done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, Lisa's a nice, Colleen's a nice person.
Wonder what that's like. Does she give her a ride?
She rolled the window down. And then Lisa proceeded to spray her in the face with pepper spray.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I'm not giving you a ride. Stop spraying me with pepper. So Lisa is wearing a wig and a trench coat. Like, I just want to see what that looks like on video.
I think I found a picture.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Colleen's like, get away from me, you weirdo.
Yeah.
I don't have your O-ring, okay? Are you wearing a diaper? What is that?
Why do you smell like urine?
Why are you bulging? That's strange. So Colleen decides she's going to roll the window down and be a kind citizen. Well, she knows Lisa, quote, knows her. She knows of her, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, so Lisa sprays her in the face with pepper spray. Colleen punches the gas, went to the parking lot booth, and then she called police.
Good. And she's doing all this blind.
Yeah. So, ladies, don't roll your windows down.
Yeah.
Drive away before the pepper spray gets on you. Yeah, if you meet your boyfriend's ex-girlfriend in a parking lot at 3 a.m. in a different state on the other side of the world, you should think that's weird.
Yeah, there's so many things.
Yeah.
And she's been trained by the military.
Yeah.
And she's rolling down.
Well,
okay.
she's in the Air Force.
Yeah,
she's
I'm not.
Air Force. Yeah.
Not victim blaming. I'm just saying, like, I've listened to enough murder podcasts and I've done enough where.
Yeah, don't be a victim, Colleen. Okay, so several Orlando police from the airport division arrived minutes later, and the first officer who arrived actually witnessed Lisa throwing away a bag into the trash at the parking shuttle bus stop.
Worst criminal ever.
Worst. I mean, she's really smart.
I know, but you just feel like there should be circus music playing in the background.
Right?
Like,
did you inflate the car tires on your clown car?
Honk, honk.
Yeah, she had a clown coat. I wonder if she had the wig and the glasses and the clown nose with the mustache. Do you think those came together?
Roll down the window.
Was it a bag?
Like a Halloween special.
Yeah. So I wonder what was in there in that bag. Any guesses?
Yeah, I've got a lot of guesses.
Yeah, so police arrested Lisa on charges of attempted kidnapping, battery, attempted vehicle burglary with a battery, and that she didn't hit her with a battery.
Yeah. No, I got that part. All you had to say was 8-inch switchblade.
Right. And destruction of evidence. I mean, you could just pull the bag right out.
You could ask her for it at this point.
I know. Yeah, that bag you're putting in. No, put it in there all the way.
Oh, that's mine.
We got to check.
Just leave it in there.
That's my purse.
Yeah.
That's all my diapers. So
talk about DNA evidence.
So later on, Colleen gave a written statement and then requested a restraining order.
Yeah, good call.
Same. Yeah. So she identified Lisa as, quote, an acquaintance of her boyfriend.
Okay.
All right. That's like the biggest insult.
Yeah. But
I mean, are you like, well, so there was this astronaut chasing me?
Yeah. Yes. Because if you call 911, you're not like, hey, there's a little flame going on at my house. You're like, the house is on fire. And they come faster.
Yeah. I mean, but then she needs to, I don't know.
An acquaintance like they met through book club.
Right.
Like the astronaut with the
astronaut
on.
book club.
Yeah.
So, I don't, it seems kind of like she was protecting Bill maybe a little bit because he's an astronaut too. If he wasn't an astronaut, she probably would have been like, that astronaut's chasing me, and my husband is just a guy that works at a law firm.
Just a normal guy.
Yeah. And so Colleen claimed, also, P.S., like, Colleen is in the military. So she's probably thinking, like, this could be an international, like, you kind of think about those things.
I was just thinking that I assume through military and NASA training that the statements may be tailored either by practice or by situation.
Yeah. So Colleen claimed that Lisa Nowak had been stalking her for 2 months. I don't know if that's true. My microphone. I don't know if that's true. Because they don't really talk about that in the historical thing, and I wonder if she's confusing stalking with my bike was left at your boyfriend's house, and they're training together. I'm
gonna guess it's pretty accurate if the chick went and bought a trench coat and a disguise and wore a diaper all the way to.
How does she know her flight information?
Yeah, exactly.
Girl, how'd you get that? Well, Lisa told investigators that she'd been in a relationship with Bill and described it as, quote, more than a working relationship, but less than a romantic relationship.
Come on, Bill.
Unquote.
Okay.
So, no, that's what Lisa said.
Sorry, my eyes just hit the back of my skull.
Yeah, they did. I saw it. So, yeah, they were just doing the dirty. But anyway, so her behavior kind of paints a little bit different picture, though, because, girl, you lost your whole ass mind and acted like a psychopath.
Sounds like she had a mental break.
Yeah, because her husband left her, and then she has, like, kids, and she's at NASA, and then they told her, you can't be on the space shuttle. You can't sit next to us.
Yeah, it just went from, like, normal, like, that's frowned upon, to, like, full-on crazy. That sounds like a break to me.
Full-on crazy,
yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So Lisa was held in jail without bail, citing evidence of elaborate planning, disguises, and weapons.
Is she a flight risk? Oh, most definitely.
To space.
Yeah.
Well, Lisa doesn't just work for NASA. She's also a Navy officer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have a military officer. Mm-hmm. NASA is a government. That's not military. So we have a military officer committing felony activities against another military officer. That's what this boils down to, right?
Yeah.
And so #nightmare. So for her arraignment, her commanding officer at NASA, so they've got, at every command you're at, you always have a commanding officer. So her commanding officer, I'm sure, was super thrilled.
Like, oh, shit.
He's like, what? So this is literally the very next day. So she gets in her car, drives 3 a.m., gets arrested, goes to jail. She's arraigned the very next, like, hours later. So her commanding officer and then the lead astronaut they hop in a jet. Because you can do that when you're at NASA. Yeah. So they hop in their jet. So this is Captain Christopher Ferguson. He goes by Chris. We don't know each other, but he goes by Chris on the interweb.
Okay.
And then Commander Lindsay, who is the commander of her shuttle mission, and they were the senior chief officers, and also the senior astronauts. So they go and they act as her. Not a lawyer, but like a legal representation from the Navy.
Okay.
And so if I was Ferguson and Lindsay, I would be flabbergasted. I would be flying all the way there, thinking about the giant stick I'm going to hit her dumb ass with.
Yeah. I mean, what?
Are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
You are an astronaut.
This is an international nightmare.
National.
Yeah.
Federal crime, multiple states. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. It's going to be a good time.
Are you kidding me? Mm-hmm. And so, it's atrocious. So, if I were on any kind of board sitting for her, you're out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bye.
Grab your diaper and go.
See ya. Here's your McDonald's application. So the day after she's arrested on February 6, 2007, her commanding officer and senior astronaut appeared before a judge. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that's what they wanted to do on whatever day that was.
Yeah.
Is it a happy Wednesday? Who knows? Yeah. So the state's attorney, Amanda Cowan, argued that the facts indicated a well thought out plan to kidnap and perhaps injure Colleen. Yeah, like what would she have done had she been able to get into the car?
Yeah.
What was going on with you? You had a hammering hammer, a drilling hammer.
A drilling
What
hammer.
even is that?
Yeah.
How do you have it?
I think it
gloves?
was premeditated, but well thought out, I would argue.
Yeah. In arguing the pretrial release, Lisa's lawyer remarked, quote, "One's good works must count for something."
What?
No, you're a felon.
I mean,
I don't care if you used to be the president.
I don't care if you donated blood.
I don't care.
Whatever.
So Lisa posted $15,000 in bail and had to wear a GPS tracking device.
Yeah.
This is funny to me because NASA is who launches GPS satellites into space. I love that you're being tracked by NASA all the ways. So the judge granted a no contact order to Lisa so that Lisa would not be able to contact Colleen.
Okay.
So before Lisa was released on bail, the Orlando police pulled the bail back, and said, "Actually, we're gonna charge you with attempted first-degree murder."
Yeah.
And that's fair. Hold up, wait a minute. So at this point, the judge raises the bail up $10,000 to $25,000. Lisa posted it. Apparently, she had enough money for that.
Yeah.
And she was released on bail. I wonder how Richard felt. He's like, "You did what?"
Can you imagine? I mean,
I don't think he knew that she was cheating on him at this point. Their relationship just broke down.
And now he's plastered all over the news. His kids, his whole family has imploded.
Right. So Lisa posted the bail, and then she was released, and then Colleen must have been really trusting because she actually dropped the request for protection on February 15th.
Nope.
Well, Lisa was wearing an ankle monitor that you could totally cut off.
Yeah.
She seems to really follow rules anyway. So only the one she wants to. Later on that day, on February 6, 2007, NASA was like, "You're on leave now. We'll see you later.
Yeah.
You can go back to your little apartment thing and ride your bike." Yeah. So like adult timeout, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So she flew home on a commercial flight.
Oh,
You're not in a military jet anymore,
she's
baby.
sitting there like, "I used to fly astronaut space shuttle."
So that was on February 8th, and then upon landing was immediately taken into police escort to the Johnson Space Center for a psych eval.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Can you imagine the space people coming for a psych eval for you?
No, but
What do they wear? Are they wearing a trench coat?
they've got these foil tin hats that are shaped in different...
Yeah, those people, I never saw those people when I would visit NASA, when I visit my uncle at NASA.
They keep them in a dark room in the back.
Yeah. They're in the basement. Mm-hmm. So this is every military officer astronaut's dream. Yes, to receive a government mandated psych eval. So on March 7th, 2007, NASA terminated Lisa Nowak's assignment with them.
Yeah.
She's still in the military though.
Yeah.
And attempted murder is frowned upon at NASA.
Unbecoming behavior.
Yeah. Can you not do that ever again? Thanks. So people came out of the woodwork critical of NASA's screening process.
Oh, come on now.
No, that's not. No, she cray.
Yeah.
No, I can assure you that NASA's screening process could not have predicted this.
No.
No. No. Stop it. Yeah. Little known secret for civilians. Aviators lie all the time. If we want to fly, I am going to tell you that my back is just fine.
Yeah.
And that my vision, I don't need to squint.
R9. Like
my ear is totally fine, even though I just totally blew it out on that touch and go. But whatever.
Come on now. I think, anyway.
So if she did have mental stuff, this is actually a big deal right now going on in the military where aviators, especially aviators, are lying. And there was that guy that was just on, was it American? Oh, it was a 175. He was riding in the back so the pilots are in the front, right? Pilot, co-pilot in the front. He's riding in the jump seat, and he took mushrooms because he's like stressed out or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he was going to shut off the freaking engines. He reached up and tried to shut off the engines, but so there is a self-reporting that you do, and if you don't feel good, you need to report it.
Yeah, but...
Or you want to get a free flight to wherever and you're a pilot? Well, I'm just going to lie and tell him I feel great. So this doesn't...
How did he get mushrooms through security?
No, he ate them before he got to the airport, and then they kicked in the middle of the flight.
Tripping balls on the flight. Okay.
Yep. So it doesn't matter. Like, they're going to be like, how are you feeling mentally? Great.
Yeah. I feel just fine.
I feel fine. I would never murder someone.
Yeah.
Send me to space.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, and astronauts are going to lie too. Everybody's going to lie. Everybody lies. Everybody lies. The pilot that you're going to fly on that airline with, they probably lied this morning. Hopefully they're not drunk, but they probably lied about something.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is. And if FAA, if you want to come at me, come on. NTSB, bring it. I don't care. That's just the way it is. So, yeah. Anyway, my nose keeps hitting this. I'm going to turn it.
There you go. You've got such a cute little nose.
Oh, yeah. It's always sticking out. So, in response to Lisa Nowak's mental health, NASA commissioned a NASA Astronaut Healthcare System Review Committee.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Well, that turned out wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe we should check this out next time.
Yeah. What? They didn't have that before?
Apparently not.
Okay.
Maybe
they hadn't had need to.
I mean, that's going to solve all the problems.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they're still going to lie. So flight surgeons are now receiving more training on psychological evaluations. I'm going to tell you also that the flight surgeons are probably lying too.
Yeah.
I have lots of friends who are flight surgeons and they all lie.
The system is flawed.
Yeah. Because aviators go and they're like, hey, Doc, I just need some Sudafed. And then Doc hands him some Sudafed. Does he log it into the computer? No. Does he put him down on flight restriction? No.
Yeah.
No, it's not going to. Mm-mm. So anyway, aviators do anything to keep flying. And that's how that goes. All right. So the case goes to court. February 6th, 2007. We're like the next day still.
Jeez.
We're the next day. She's getting canned from everywhere. Her marriage, her boyfriend, her jail, everything.
And
NASA.
She's out there walking around with an ankle bracelet.
Yeah,
on.
she's fine. Yep. So she pled not guilty to charges of attempted murder.
Come on.
It was not guilty to attempted murder and attempted kidnapping. She's like, I was just going to.
That rope.
I was saying hi.
That rope's for my yoga because my back.
I mean, it was cold, and that's why I was wearing a trench coat, and my head was cold, so I had an extra wig on.
Oh.
Why are you so judgy? On March 2nd, so now we're the next month, on March 2nd, Florida prosecutors filed 3 formal charges against Lisa, and they, 1, attempted kidnapping with intent to inflict bodily harm or terrorize.
I think that's a fair one.
Yeah, terrorizing is for sure the thing. 2 was burglary of a conveyance with a weapon, and then battery.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So they declined to file the attempted murder charge.
I think that would sort of negate anything else. So if she didn't get charged with murder, then all these lesser charges. But if they know for sure, which that should be a slam dunk, those 3 charges.
Because... Right. Attempted murder is really hard to prove unless she shot a bullet or stabbed her.
Yeah.
So, like, if you shoot a bullet at me and I just happen to live, that's definitely attempted murder.
Yeah.
I just happen to live and you are a bad shot.
Yeah.
But she didn't do anything. So, really. Terrorizing, though, for sure. So, she wore the GPS monitor.
Okay.
And the defense moved to suppress some of the evidence.
As they will, yeah.
That's what they do. That's their job. On April 10th, so the next month, so we're 2 months down the line, 2007, the quickest case processing ever, April 10th, Florida prosecutors released more evidence.
Ooh.
So this is where we get all this information from, is this particular release. So the trial judge agreed to unseal some of the evidence that was found in Lisa's car after her arrest. And among the murder stalker weirdo kit was a handwritten note on USS Nimitz stationery.
Oh.
The Nimitz was my boat. That's what I deployed on.
Come on.
So it was on USS Nimitz stationery.
She couldn't go to Target.
Get one of those hot pink sticky notes.
Yeah.
Come on, girl. So it was listing Colleen's flight information.
Yikes.
So then on some flight controllers log paper, that's like probably from the ship, from the Nimitz. So then from some flight controllers log paper listed more than 24 items. She made a murder kit list. Like,
you got to be prepared.
I know. What astronaut's not prepared for murder?
Oh.
So that included sneakers, plastic gloves, contacts, cash, an umbrella,
change of underwear,
black sweats. She didn't wear underwear. It was diapers. She denied that, by the way. She denied that she wore diapers.
Okay. I don't know.
Girl, I know you wore them into space.
It does make you less crazy.
Nah, nope. She also had a floppy disk.
What?
All right, kids. Let me tell you what a floppy disk is.
It's this square thing with a hole in the middle.
Yeah.
And it held about one byte of data.
Yeah, it like 3 sentences. Mm-hmm. And it was called a floppy disk because it was literally floppy.
Yeah.
Do you remember those things and you had to stick it in there?
Oh, and then you like that white
the slide, the little slide thing, and then or there was like a button to eject it.
You had to blow on it sometimes. Or is that Nintendo?
Yeah, and don't stick your finger in there because you're going to get your fingerprint on there and then it won't read. Oh, I love that. Yeah, we had a Commodore 64 with a floppy disk reader.
Oh yeah, Carmen. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? That was one of my first games. Good times.
Oh, hey, I was back on Pong. Ba-ding, ba-ding. You know what it is, kids. All right, so she had a floppy disk, and on the floppy disk where she had 2 pictures of Lisa riding a bicycle race.
You mean Colleen or Lisa?
No, Lisa had a floppy disk of herself. Yeah.
Okay.
She had on the disk that she had were 2 pictures of herself riding a bike. And then the bike that should have moved. Anyway, and then 15 pictures of an unidentified woman in various stages of undress. What?
What? Was it Colleen?
I don't know. Nobody knows. It's an unidentified woman. What are you doing?
She had a break.
Yep. An evidence report dated March 15th indicated that nearly all the pictures and drawings depicted scenes of bondage.
Drawings? Like hand drawings on her own personal stationery?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, she just needs to plead guilty and get over.
You need some Xanax. Yeah. Also found was $585 or 41 lire. Oh no, $585 and 41 lire in cash and 69 orange pills. Those weren't identified. They could have been Tic Tacs. I don't know.
Probably Motrin.
Chiclets, iron pills. So there was also a USB flash drive in the car that contained family pictures, digital movies, and NASA-related materials, which seems
I think that's a big no-no.
Seems like a violation.
Yeah,
I don't know. Investigators determined that the USB drives had nothing to do with the crimes. Only your drawings of bondage.
Yeah, I think it definitely is. I could see a judge throwing it out, but I could also see a good lawyer arguing that this goes towards her mental state at the time.
Yeah, and so they also found that phone that Bill had given her,
the secret one.
Yeah, the secret phone. So exciting. Phone records actually showed that Lisa called Bill 12 times and sent 7 text messages the day after he got back from his spaceflight mission in December of 2006.
All right, girl's thirsty.
Yeah. She sent those on December 22nd, but he didn't retrieve those until December 24th when they talked for 7 minutes.
Christmas
Eve. Yeah. He's like, stop calling me. You're crazy. So at this point, he's dating Colleen.
Yeah. If I was Colleen, I'd think twice.
Well, we're going to see what
happens. So they're
happens.
still together, right?
Well, but investigators, stop asking questions, Paige.
Sorry.
So, but investigators found that during December and January, over 100 calls were made.
Dang.
But they couldn't tell who called who, because that was back in the day.
Okay.
So NASA and military investigators asked Bill about their relationship, and he admitted that they broke up, but Lisa that he broke up with Lisa, but they talked, and then they had lunch once, and then they trained for races and worked out at the gym. And you might have given her the wrong idea. On May 11th, 2007, authorities released a surveillance video from the Orlando International Airport.
Who was she sneaking around?
Is there like music? Dang it. It's our theme music.
She's right. She's rolling on the ground, hiding behind trash cans.
Yeah, so at the end of this, when you hear our exit theme music, just imagine Lisa with a trench coat at the airport.
Big black wig.
So on May 11th, 2007, authorities released a surveillance video from the Orlando International Airport terminal showing Lisa waiting for nearly an hour, standing near the luggage claim, then donning a trench coat and following Colleen around.
I think that just makes you look more suspicious.
You look like a douche.
Yeah, what are we doing here?
I guess she was, I don't know, taking some good no-dos. I don't know. How are you awake at that point? I want to be in bed. So they had a pretrial hearing on July 17th, 2007, and then another on September 19th to argue again to suppress some of the evidence the police obtained when they arrested her. So on August 12th, 2007, Lisa requested to have her ankle bracelet removed.
For good behavior?
I guess it was chafing her. I don't know.
I can't imagine that's comfortable, but I've never worn one. I think she should
stop lying, girl. You know you had one.
They did a wrestling.
I saw that bruise.
Yeah,
a wrestling belt.
Yeah, for me.
So the judge agreed to remove the fancy bracelet. All right. So on August 28th, 2007, the trial judge unsealed a court document indicating that Lisa intended to pursue an insanity defense.
I could see that being a good approach for her.
Those never work.
It's hard. They're difficult, but
her lawyers said that she was evaluated by 2 different psychiatrists, and they diagnosed her with obsessive compulsive personality disorder, which I appreciate as an astronaut. I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. But
I think that's right on the nose.
Yeah, you have that. And then they also diagnosed her with Asperger's syndrome, which makes sense because she's not a team player.
I also think really, really smart people you see that more with really intelligent people.
I've met people with Asperger's, and I'm like, yep. And they also diagnosed her with a single episode of major depressive disorder because your life was a shit show for a minute, like a whole week. It was awful. and a, quote, brief psychotic disorder with marked stressors. I wonder what those marked stressors was. Was it because you got kicked out of a flight off of NASA and your husband wanted to divorce you? I don't know.
It's just a bad week for her.
Yeah, she was going through it.
I feel like I could have written that avow myself.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, same. So something to her advantage. She was not given her Miranda rights at the airport.
Oh, come on.
Come on, airport police people.
Bubba, that's your one job.
You had one job. So the judge threw out all the statements and vehicle searches.
Oh, really?
Police misconduct. Ruining cases all over the places. So the lawyers argued back and forth, but ultimately the judge ruled that the car evidence would be let in.
Okay. I think that's sort of a deal maker right there.
Right. Citing a thing called the inevitable discovery exception to the search warrant requirement.
Sure.
Like, we're going to find that stuff anyway, probably later, because we impounded your car. So,
I mean, inevitable is all they had to say.
Also, I have eyes, and I saw it on camera. So, basically, the police would have found the stuff anyway, with or without, or like with an legally or illegally search, whatever. They're going to find it anyway. So there was some doubts of questions about if Lisa actually pepper sprayed Colleen.
Oh, come on.
Well, I thought about this too. Okay, so if I pepper spray you, are you going to be able to drive through a airport parking garage and get to the police station? Are you going to be able to see that?
I feel like I mentioned that exact point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll tell you. So my friend that's a cop, they have to be pepper sprayed at some point, so they understand what it feels like.
It feels great.
Yeah, he's like, I had to drive home with my head out the window like a dog to be able to see where I was going hours later.
Yeah, hours.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't see anything.
Well,
so
maybe she didn't get the full shot. She just got a little pepper spray.
Well, so the judge allowed for the defense to depose Colleen again.
Oh.
And about what exactly happened in the parking garage. And I had a hard time believing that when I first heard it. I was like, I can barely get through a parking garage with my eyes perfectly fine.
Like turning the interior light on.
Right. And she's at a satellite. I don't know. So, your eyes were literally not open if you're pepper sprayed.
She's just hoping.
She's hoping. She's
but
like,
at that
is that a pole? I don't know.
Yeah.
So for her to have been sprayed and then driven off, I don't know. So the defense found that Colleen was not pepper sprayed.
Okay. Well, at the end of the day, if she's popping up in a parking lot at 3 a.m. in the morning after she had lost her luck, all of that is bad news. I think pepper spray is sort of she's still terrorizing without the pepper spray.
She was definitely terrorized. I wonder if she said that just to make more of it, or I don't know why.
But when you panic, sometimes you misremember things.
Yeah.
So maybe she saw her with the pepper spray.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. So the defense moved to have the criminal charges related to the assault and battery to be dropped okay, so now June 2008, Richard divorces her because, girl,
yeah,
you got a problem.
Yeah, could you imagine on the divorce decree the reasons? He's like, I've got 18 pages here.
Yeah, he's like, just read the news.
Yeah.
Read Discovery ID. You'll see. So they got divorced, but she was given full custody of the kids.
Texas
is wild.
Shame. Wow.
Wild. If I'm Richard, I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, she's probably going to jail. What are we doing here?
What are we doing here? I don't know. That's wild to me. I can't believe that.
And to another kick in the balls is he's paying child support.
Probably. So the trial was scheduled for December 7th, 2009, but on November 10th, 2009, a month before the trial was scheduled, she actually entered a guilty plea to felony burglary.
There we go.
And misdemeanor battery as part of a plea deal. I would have taken a plea deal a year ago.
Yeah, I would have done that in February of the day after it happened.
Like, this is so much news coverage. I mean,
just end it.
I can't believe that the NASA lawyers weren't like, can you make this go away?
Yeah, could you send her to a different planet?
We're trying to get funding. What the fuck?
Yeah, president watches the news.
Yeah, and then he tweets about it.
It's huge.
It's huge. So she was sentenced to 1 year probation. And 2 days already served in jail with no additional jail time.
What? People are sitting in jail for selling weed?
Right. But to be fair, like, what she actually did was drive to an airport and then bang on somebody's window.
Yeah.
Like, that's actually what happened.
Yeah.
I'm more concerned about, like, you shouldn't be part of the space program.
Or the military.
Yeah. Because you're not making good decisions.
Yeah, no, that's a very, very good point.
Yeah. So in March 2011, Lisa petitioned the court to seal the record of her.
Oh, why?
It's
on the internet. Why seal it?
I mean, I'm talking about it right now.
When she goes to apply for a job,
they're going to have heard about her. Well, so she petitioned to have to seal the record of her criminal proceedings, like the whole entire. You know how sometimes you can get the court docket and like read all of the transcripts? Yeah. She wanted to have that portion sealed. I guess there was more stuff she didn't want people to know. What else is there?
Oh, crap. My Tinder account's really going to suffer.
So, and she was citing harm to her family and their livelihood.
Oh,
bitch, maybe you should have thought about that before you did that.
Let's make some better
before
decisions.
You were cheating on your husband. The thinking ahead process for me.
I'm just like putting a Band-Aid on after you've chopped off your arm.
Right. I mean, just stick a Motrin in there.
Yeah.
So the motion was granted.
Okay.
So we don't know everything that happened.
I don't want to know everything at this point.
Maybe, yeah. I let's just leave it to our imagination, to our space flight imagination. But yeah, I mean, you wouldn't have to seal your record if you would have used your brain, your big brain. Anyway,
She had just gone to Brown University like her parents told her to.
She should have. So the thing for me as a female officer is,
Yeah.
you're just such a freaking cliche. I mean,
Yeah.
people work so hard. Women especially work so hard to get things done in the military and really in anywhere on Earth.
Exactly.
And here you are doing this dumb shit. Are you kidding me?
You have been successful in a male-dominated industry. You've done things that we could really hang our hat on. Like, women are changing things. But I will say one of the things that bugs me so much, and it always has, as soon as a guy's over a girl, he's like, she's crazy.
Yeah.
She may be, but y'all are crazy too.
Yeah.
Quit using that word.
You're making me crazy. You're crazy. Maybe I am crazy.
Are we on page 89?
Yeah. So her and Bill are still active duty military at this point.
How?
Well, let's find out. The Navy insisted that they be returned from NASA and brought back to the Navy because they violated the UCMJ rule. There's so many. So
double jeopardy.
They violated the adultery stuff, but she went to jail for battery. Yeah. So she has her own cases to deal with the military, but they as a pair have the adultery thing. So once Lisa's kidnapping case was resolved, the Navy sent her to Corpus Christi, Texas. Now, I was stationed at Corpus Christi, and I worked with the people at the location that she worked at. So this is like, she worked for an admiral, and she worked in the flight training curriculum division. That is like, if you were a congressman and then you got in trouble and now you're a kindergarten teacher. That's what this is.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Well, but
plus everyone knows about her.
Let's set our expectations.
Yeah. But I remember her. Let's see. I guess I was working at NAS. I was at Pensacola at the time at pre-flight while this was happening in Corpus. So all my buddies who were in Corpus were telling me about her. I was like, she's wild. Believe this shit. So she got to stand before a Naval Board of Inquiry. So you remember like A Few Good Men?
Yeah.
You can't handle the truth.
Yeah.
That's where she was.
Okay.
And it's that, but actually awful. Because you're just like embarrassed and shamed and in a lot of trouble. And also, no Tom Cruise. So the board voted on August 19, 2010, to recommend that Lisa Nowak be separated from the Navy with an other than honorable discharge and deduction in rank from captain to commander.
I think that's fair. I mean, I don't get a say in it, but
yeah. So other than honorable is different than dishonorable.
I was just about to ask.
And those two terms have to do with what you get after you are separated from the VA. So it has nothing to do with you as a person. It has to do with your VA benefits.
Okay.
So she was not dishonorably discharged, although I would argue for that.
Yeah.
A lot. But all she did was stalk a girl and bang on her window. But she brought a lot of shame to the military and to NASA. So I don't know. Yeah. Maybe, I don't know. She should still get her benefits, I guess, because she did do good things, as her lawyer said. So anyway, so the other than honorable is what she got. And so she's still going to probably get VA benefits, potentially I don't know. Well, anyway, so she, so on July 28th, 2007, the Secretary of the Navy and Assistant Secretary of the Navy confirmed the Board of Inquiry's recommendations. And the Assistant Secretary of the Navy, Juan Garcia, said in a statement that Lisa Nowak, quote, fell well short of what is expected of naval officers and, quote, demonstrated a complete disregard for the well-being of a fellow service member.
I think he put that kindly.
And that's the thing. Colleen Shipman is a military captain. She's an Air Force captain. And so that's the piece that I think is forgotten about, that, you know, while you're looking at the civilian surface, you know, some stalker chick broke up with her boyfriend and there was this other girl. No, they're all military officers.
Yeah.
You know, they're active duty.
Did Bill get the same?
I don't actually know what he got. I think that he was separated from the military as well, but I think he was forced into retirement. Okay. Because he broke a UCMJ article, but that's not one of the bigger ones. Astronaut Michael Coates, the director of Johnson Space Center from 2005 to 2012, recalled that Nowak struggled after leaving the Navy, as most people do. Yeah. As the notoriety of her case kept potential employers from hiring her. They're like, oh, did you work at NASA? Oh, you're that girl that worked at NASA. Oh, right. Yeah,
people were wearing Halloween costumes of an astronaut wearing a diaper.
Right. Yeah.
That was one of the first images that popped up.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you do what she did, it's going to go epically screw up your future, right? And your family. So in 2017, People Magazine, for what it's worth, People Magazine, reported that Lisa Nowak was living quietly in Texas, where she's working in the private sector.
I think that's great. I think that's where she needs to be, unless it's designing our roads or...
Yeah, her attorney said, quote, she's doing well.
Okay.
But it only takes one. Right?
Yeah, and I think when it's such a small group and wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
I don't think there are a lot of people out there, in Generation X or above that didn't hear about it, but all the details behind it. But when you boiled it down to that, I don't know, man. I've been on late flights. You get into your car, the last thing you want to see is some crazy ex-girlfriend of the guy
in a
you're
trench
dating.
coat. With a wig.
Is that your mustache on the ground? I'm just going to roll my window down here and check.
Yeah, it's crooked. Yeah, you got to straighten out that mustache before you attack me. So that's it. That's the story of You Give Love a Bad Name.
That's apropos.
Lisa Nowak. Yep.
Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. Please come back.
Yeah, and give us 5 stars, please. It helps us. And write a review, and we will see you next time. This has been a Clear Right production in conjunction with Coming Home Well Network.